everybody, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I'm sitting in my room, in my bed, because I'm going to be doing a Q&A video. I asked you guys on Instagram and on the YouTube community tab if you had any questions for me to answer in a question and answer video. Normally, I don't get very many questions, but for me, I got a lot of questions. I'm really excited. I actually got so many that I'm going to split up the homeschool ones and do those in a separate Q&A, and I'm going to try to get to as many of the non-homeschooling questions today as possible, but you guys know that I rattle on and I talk a lot. So I don't know how many of these I'll get through, but I'm going to get through as many as I can. But I thought it'd be more fun just to kind of hang out in bed, sit here. I didn't realize this was going to be so comfortable. I should film every video from here. But I'm going to just be hanging out here with you guys in my room answering your questions. So the first question is, how do you handle loneliness as a stay-at-home mom, or what do you do to kind of stay occupied? I'm recently switched from working to staying home full-time, and I'm struggling with the day-to-day. Well, if you'd asked me this 14 years ago when I became a stay-at-home mom, I would have no way to answer this for you because I wouldn't know. But after being a stay-at-home mom for actually almost 15 years, I really have, I think, come into my own as far as balancing the kids and myself, because back then I really didn't make myself much of a priority. I really just, which I mean is fine, your kids should be a priority, and I put my kids first always. But now I have learned that I need to make myself a priority during the day too. I need to do things for me, and I need to do things that I enjoy, because you don't want to get burned out. That's the bad thing. Like if you get to the point where you're burned out because you're doing the same thing every day, and you go from, especially in your case, you went from working full-time, you're being around other adults, now you're home all the time with kids, you know, you've got to stop and think, what's important to you? Do you miss having interaction with other adults if you don't have that in your life now? If you do miss that, that wasn't really an issue with me, because I didn't really have that many relationships outside of my family anyway. I hadn't been in the job that I was at when I quit. Like I hadn't been in that job very long, so I didn't have like any long-term friendships from work or anything like that. I didn't have any lingering high school friendships, so really I didn't have any friends that were adults for the most part. In the beginning, I felt lonely. Like I felt like I wanted friends. Now I'm at the point where, I guess it's because of you guys. I think it's a combination of you guys and being content with myself. You know how when you're not in a relationship, like when you're single, and they always say, be happy with yourself, be happy being alone, and then you can be happy with somebody else. It's kind of the same thing about having friends. You know, you've got to really learn how to be happy and content on your own if you don't have friends. And that is something that you learn over time. But if friends are really important to you, and if hanging out with other adults is really important to you, then make sure that you're making time to do that. Even though you're a stay-at-home mom, even if they have to come to your house, there are other ways to keep adults in your life, but you have to be intentional about it. As far as just the day-to-day of being a stay-at-home mom and sometimes how monotonous that can be, that goes back to what I said about making yourself a priority. Doing something for yourself every day that you can, that you enjoy, that's for yourself. So if that's getting up early and having quiet time and coffee before the kids get up. For me, it's working out every day and my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel, and that for you could just be a regular hobby. You know, do you have a hobby that you enjoy? Whether you do it at home, or maybe sometimes you have to go out and do that hobby. You know, do you have something that you enjoy, that fulfills you, that makes you happy, that challenges you, that encourages you to grow? That really has made a huge difference. I didn't know that I was missing anything until I found it. You know what I mean? Like, I love sharing information. I love being creative, and YouTube is the perfect way to do that, because I am able to share with you guys. It challenges me because I've had to learn how to do everything for it. I knew nothing about anything. I knew nothing about filming. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know how to use, I didn't know anything. Everything I have done to this point, however good or bad it may be, I have had to learn. And in that process, I have really, really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed the challenge of it. I've really enjoyed being motivated by you guys. That means a lot to me. That has helped me a lot as a stay-at-home mom, because it gives me something to focus on. Not that you shouldn't focus on your family, but something else to focus on too that I enjoy. I enjoy taking care of my family. I feel like I'm just claiming this, but like, you know what I mean? Like something that's just yours, that is for you. It's nice if it has trickle-down benefits for your family, like YouTube. For me now, I make money on YouTube, so I'm able to help provide things for our family. But even before it made money. I mean, I didn't make money on YouTube until like 3 years after I'd been doing it or something ridiculous. So I didn't start it for the money. I don't do it for the money. That's just a nice added bonus. So something you enjoy that you like to do. So do you like to crochet? Do you like to paint? Do you want to go out and do workout classes? Do you want to do exercises at home? You know, something that is for you, that is satisfying, challenging, encouraging, motivating. That has made the hugest difference for me. So that's really what I would say is, yes, sometimes things still get monotonous and there's always going to be dirty dishes and laundry and it's kind of a repeat. And I talked before about, you know, thinking of your housework as a way you serve your family. And when you think of it that way, it doesn't make it quite so bad. When you think about, you know, do you really want to iron more clothes or clean up another mess? No. But doing those things is the way that you are showing love to your family, and that kind of helps to make it more bearable. You know, you just have to try different things. You have to be on a journey to figure out what you need as a stay-at-home mom. You know, and if you're lonely, what's going to make you not lonely? Is it going to be just having a hobby? Is it going to be going out once or twice a week and doing a class? Is it going to be, you know, finding or you know, continuing on with friendships? Whatever it is that you need, you just have to find the time in your day to do it. It's not always easy, but you just have to be able to find that time, because until you're able to find that time and make yourself a priority, you're not going to be as happy as you could be. And you could start to resent your time at home, and you don't want to do that. You want to enjoy the time you're at home and enjoy your kids. So do whatever you need to do to make that work, and whatever that is for you, but you got to do it. Second thing is, what kind of music do I listen to? Well, to be honest, I don't listen to music a lot because I don't listen to the radio when the kids are with me, because pretty much everything has bad language, even commercials, I swear. For a while we had satellite radio. I really liked that because we would listen to like the 50s channel, the 60s channel. I really love big band music, so like 40s music. I love Glenn Miller, Louis Armstrong, love stuff like that. So we were able to listen to that stuff. That was really good. This time of year is good because Christmas music is on the radio, so that's safe, so we can listen to Christmas music. But just overall, like me personally, by myself, I really like Taylor Swift. I don't know what these people stand for and all that junk, but as far as their music goes, I like Taylor Swift. I like Justin Timberlake. Who else do I listen to? Sia. I would have to say Sia is like my top. And I do let the girls listen to some of her music because for the most part, most of it's clean, but I love her voice. She makes everything so different and fresh and unique. I love her. My favorite Christmas song, and what is the best book you have read this year? My favorite Christmas song is The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole and Cold December Night by Michael Bublé. But to be honest, Michael Bublé could sing anything and make it amazing. Pretty much any of his Christmas songs I like, but as far as like classic Christmas songs, I really love The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole. I think his voice is amazing too. And the best book I've read this year, I haven't read a book this year. I feel so bad because people ask me a lot for, well, okay, I take that back. I'll take it back. This is the only book that I have read and almost completed. I'm trying to get it up front of my pillow. I read this every single night before bed. It is 365 Daily Devotions, A Little God Time for Mothers. And it is just little blurbs, like little devotions that I read. Usually read 1 or 2 every night. I'm almost done with this book. I've talked about it before. I love this book. But as far as like novels, you know, fiction novels or whatever, I don't read books. I really, honestly, I don't want to say I don't have time to read, because I guess if it was a priority, I would make time. But I guess it's not a priority, honestly. I don't enjoy reading, and when I do have to read things, it's usually like a homeschooling book or something like that. It's not going to be like a book you'd sit down to read for fun. So I don't read books. I do want to start doing some books, like audiobooks, because I feel like there are lots of books that I think look really interesting or motivational. I like a lot of self-help books. Like, I love books, and I love getting books for me, but I don't read them. And I love getting books for the kids, but I just don't enjoy reading. But I thought it'd be nice if I did listen to some audiobooks. So I got the app from my local library to be able to listen to some of them for free. I may start doing that, but as far as reading a book, I'm sorry, I haven't read any this year. What is discipline like in your household? Do your girls receive an allowance? And if so, how do you decide on the amount? Discipline has changed over the years. Basically and thankfully, I don't have to discipline a whole lot. But when I do, most of the time, and things work different for everybody's family, But for the most part, it's just a matter of taking something away. And it's whatever they most enjoy at that moment, it's going to get taken away. So the girls play Minecraft. So if they have done something wrong, I will take Minecraft away. My oldest daughter has a phone. Even though she doesn't have it a lot, she does have a phone. And if something happens, I will take that away. And that's pretty much her communication with her friends that she does not get if she doesn't have her phone. So that's a big deal for her. So she will have her phone taken away. Things like that really are pretty much all we have to do as far as punishment. And then as far as positive reinforcement, they earn Loki bucks for homeschool things. And there's a couple home things that they will earn Loki bucks for too. Loki is our dog. And we have a homeschool store where they earn Loki bucks, which are like little fake money. And there's a couple things, most of those things that they can earn Loki bucks for are homeschool related. So like turning in your work on time, being quiet during school and blah, 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 all that stuff. There's a few things that I also added to that from the home category that they can earn Loki bucks for. So making your bed every morning, being in bed when you're told at nighttime. If they do those things, they earn a Loki buck. So for now, that's what we're doing instead of allowance. We have done allowance in the past, and it was always hard because you always have the thing of like, well, do you give the one kid, the older kid, more than the younger kid? And then do you take the allowance away if they did this or that? It just got to be too complicated, honestly. And I personally, yes, I do want them to be able to have money to save. But on the same token, we pay for everything that they need. We pay for their clothes. We pay for their activities. We pay for their lessons. So I really feel like that in a way is their allowance. You know what I mean? Like they're able to go to these activities because they have earned that right. They have behaved. If they don't behave, they don't go to so-and-so's party. They don't go to the school skating activity, whatever it is. Like they don't go to those things. So that kind of is a reward and it's kind of a punishment at the same time. It could be either or. So we do that instead of allowance. And plus, I just kept forgetting to pay them, or I thought I paid them and they would say I didn't pay them. And so then I'm like, well, did I go ahead and give them more money? Because I remember giving them money, but maybe that was the week before. Like it just got to be too confusing. So I personally am not doing allowance right now. They have chores. If they want money, they have chores they can do to earn money. That's how we've handled it now. So they have the Loki system, the Loki buck system. We pay for their activities. Unless they misbehave, they don't go. And then if they want money, they have to earn that money. They don't just get it at the end of the week because I give it to them. They can iron, they can clean out the car, they can do different things. There's a whole list of things we have with a value of each job. And they can decide if they need money, they can work for it. And I feel like so far that has been the system that we've used the longest, that has worked the best, because it's up to them if they get money. If they don't have money, then guess what? There's plenty of things for you to do to earn money, but I'm not just going to hand you money every week for nothing when I'm already paying for all your activities and stuff. I'm not going to do that. So for us, that works the best. I would say get a chore list, and you can cater it, to different ages of your kids and say, you get 25 cents for this, you get $1 for that, you get $2 for this, whatever it is, and they can be in charge of and responsible for how much they have or how much they don't have. So that has worked really well. The next question, I love your cleaning videos. Thank you. Do you have any tips for cleaning and maintaining a clean house with a newborn? My baby is 10 weeks old, doesn't want to nap for too long or sit in a bouncy seat for very long. People act like you can't have a schedule or a clean house with a baby, but I don't like that way of thinking. Would love to know any tips and tricks that you have. It is really hard when you have a small baby. And I think I've talked about this before. Pretty much whenever you think you figured out a good routine for something, then something changes and you have to kind of change your routine. So the first thing is to kind of be flexible. So pick a couple things, especially at this age. I mean, if you have a newborn, nobody expects your house to be perfect. So pick a few things that you can get done that are top priority. So you need food, you need laundry, and you need basic things like dishes and things like that. So maybe focus on keeping one room as clean as possible. So maybe the kitchen or the living room, and then focus on just the basic daily tasks that have to get done for now and work on those. And so that's dishes, laundry, food, things like that. And everything else kind of can slide a little bit. Now, I'm telling you, dusting cloths are your best friend. The Dollar Tree, like multi-surface wipes, are your best friend because anybody has 2 seconds to take one of those things, fly around the living room and dust really quick. You know, you can do things in little sections. And like a lot of times when I watch cleaning videos, they show videos of like consistent cleaning. I don't have time for that. Even though I don't have a newborn, I don't have time to spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours cleaning nonstop during the week. So I have to clean in sections too, even with bigger kids. They're always home with me. We homeschool, you know, I work out every day. I'm working on YouTube stuff. So I'm always doing little bitty things here and there. Start a load of laundry in the morning, switch it at lunch, fold it at night. You know, start the dishwasher at night, unload it in the morning, fill it up at night, restart it. You know, you've got these little routines, these little systems that you can put in place to maintain the basic things. Anything else on top of that is just icing on the cake. And so for right now, maybe work on that, focus on that. And then worry about your baby. Don't worry so much about what the house looks like. I mean, I know it's frustrating and obviously you have to keep the basic things picked up for your own sanity. But I would say not to stress out too much about routines. And then once your baby is to the point where they're napping better or they're happy you're playing in their bouncy seat or something like that, then you can start adding in more lengthy cleaning things. Otherwise, I would just say stick with the basics and break your cleaning jobs up. 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there really does add up and kind of maintains things, but doesn't take a whole lot of time during the day. So I hope that was helpful. The next question is, do your kids fight with each other? And if so, how do you handle it? Yes, they do. She said, my girls love each other, but after they play for a while, someone is always arguing with the other. Also, how do you keep your home smelling good with a dog? I bathe my dog like once every 2 weeks and vacuum every day almost, but I still am having to use candles and air fresheners. Well, as far as the girls fighting, luckily, they don't fight that much, especially considering that we homeschool and they're together pretty much 24/7. I really honestly feel like that has helped. Like they fought more when my oldest daughter was in public school and my youngest daughter was here at home. They don't fight as much now as they used to. And they go in stages. Like, well, they'll get along really good for a couple months and the next time my oldest daughter and they don't want to be together. But it's funny, I've told my mom this so many times. They gravitate towards each other like magnets. If you give them the opportunity alone, they almost always find their way back to each other, doing something. And it helps when you have one kid that is willing to do what the other one wants. Like my youngest daughter thinks my oldest daughter is like the best thing ever. So she would do whatever my oldest daughter wanted to do. So she's really flexible and easygoing about that. So that works out to my favor. But when they do fight, it's just time to separate them. You know, I'll say, you go to your room, you go to your room. Or you go do this, you go do this. Or you know what? If they're fighting, give them chores to do. I guarantee you they won't fight as much if they know they have to go do something chore related if they're fighting. So I would say try that. But first thing, my first instinct is to say separate them. And I think over time they're going to always fight from time to time, but I think that's just probably the best thing to do. As far as the house smelling, I don't really know. Like Loki doesn't even get a bath that often. He doesn't really stink, but I think you're right. Like vacuuming a lot helps. Definitely the main thing I think is vacuuming. And then as far as like overall the scent of your home without having to like use candles all the time, one thing I really like to do is put essential oils in a diffuser. That really helps to the overall air of the house. Also maybe an air purifier. I have one of those behind our couch and it really helps to keep the air fresh and kind of circulating. Opening the windows whenever possible to get some fresh air in. And then also I use essential oils in my homemade cleaning products and down my drains. So I really do it for the drains, but it also has an effect of just overall it makes the room smell good. And then my kitchen cleaner that I use, it's just vinegar and water, and I'll usually put essential oils in that. So peppermint, orange are really good. They're really bright, fresh scents that really make the whole room smell good. Even though you're not like spraying it directly on the dog, it overall will make your house smell better. So, and some people have also said to put a cotton ball with essential oils in your vacuum cleaner. That's supposed to help freshen up the air and the carpet. And then also some people have said to put a cotton ball with essential oils in your air vents in your home so that when you're sucking the air through, it's actually picking up a little bit of that scent and kind of recirculating it. So try those, but I mean basically I would say essential oils is the way to go. There's all different ways you can use them to freshen up your home without candles. And then there's some things you can do on your pet. There are actually dry shampoo wipes you can use on your dog to kind of freshen them up and things like that. So hopefully that was helpful. Best money saving tips. I would say to use coupons. I never stop using coupons, even though I don't use them as often as I used to because there aren't as many coupons for organic food as there used to be. And a lot of the stores now have like changed. No stores here locally double coupons anymore, so they've changed the couponing game. But there are still great ways to save money. I like to roll gift card promotions. So like if Target has a really great deal on toilet paper and then you get a gift card on top of that, I'll save that gift card for the next time I need something, and I'll try to save it for another gift card promotion. So like I'll use that first gift card to purchase the second stuff, like round of things, and then that'll generate a gift card, and I'll roll that in, all the while using coupons whenever possible. So I do that a lot. Meal planning is a huge way to save money, and then shopping all year long for gifts. You know, a lot of people commented on my gift guide series about why I was already done with my Christmas shopping, and I'm like, well, it's because I shop all year long. I shop when I find things on sale, or like for Black Friday. You know, I actually got, I'm already shopping for my daughter's birthday in a couple months. Like, I'm always looking for good deals, and you can usually find really good deals for gifts, especially after a season is over. So like when summer is over is when they're going to be selling all the like kites and outdoor toys and things like that. That's a great time to buy things for Easter baskets. Yes, you're going to have to hang on to it for 6 months, but you're going to be glad when 6 months comes and you've already got Easter basket stuff that you got on clearance, you know, 6 months ago. Same thing with Black Friday or after Christmas sales or things like that. You can always be shopping for that and price matching all year long. People tend to price match a lot at Christmas. I price match every single day all year long. I use the Amazon app, I will use Walmart, whatever it is, pretty much every store price matches. So, and usually Amazon has the best price, not always, but price match I think is probably the number one thing all year long, because there's always somebody that has whatever it is for a cheaper price, and if you can price match it and then use coupons sometimes on top of that, like Office Depot, you can price match and use coupons. So it's always a great way to save extra money. The next question is, which eye makeup are you currently using, and particularly your eyeliner? It's so pretty. Well, thank you. I just actually filmed a get ready with me this morning. I don't know if it's up or not yet, but you'll be seeing in that video kind of my go-to eyeshadow look. And then my eyeliner I use the Rimmel Exaggerate waterproof eyeliner, the retractable one. And when I'm using a liquid liner, I use the e.l.f. Intense Liquid Eyeliner, I think is what it's called. It's something new I've been using. I'll try to remember to link it for you. So I love those, and I've been using the Rimmel one for years and years. It's the best eyeliner ever. How did you meet your husband, and how old were you when you got married? We actually met at Lowe's. My parents were in the process of building the home that they live in now, and I still lived at home with them. So whenever they would go to Lowe's to get like light fixtures and fans and whatever you need when you build a house, I would go with them, and he worked at Lowe's, and I met him in the fan department, and my parents had already met him. And my mom was like, oh, there's this really cute guy that works in the electrical department. And I didn't want to see him because my hair was dirty. And so I was like trying to get away from him, like kind of going around different aisles. And he kind of kept following me. And so finally I stopped and talked to him. And he thought that I knew something about cars because I had just gotten my custom Mustang GT that I ordered directly from Ford because I wanted like certain radio system with certain seats and whatever. And he thought that I knew something about cars because I had a Mustang. Little did he know, I had nothing to do with cars. I know nothing about cars, but he can't say a word because I met him at Lowe's. So you would think like he's handy and he knows how to do stuff in the home. No, he's not terribly handy. He never wants to do any home improvement projects. I don't know why he worked at Lowe's. So if I baited and switched him, then he baited and switched me, because why was he working at Lowe's? But anyway, so I met him. He was 18. I thought he was probably 30. He looked so old. Like he had this dirty hat on and he had his work clothes on. Like I didn't know how old he was, but I thought he's got to be like 20s. He was 18. I was 20, and we got married when I was 23. So he was 21. Oh my goodness, he was 21. No wonder I'm exhausted. He was a baby. Because in guy years, 21's like what, 10 years old? So like it was basically like marrying a 10-year-old. So it was interesting. We've been married 15 years now though, so it worked out. Have you ever felt awkward when people who you know in real life find out that you have a YouTube channel? I recently started my own channel and haven't told anyone that I know personally because I just feel weird about it. Love your channel. You inspired me to film what I'm getting my kids for Christmas. Oh, thanks. I'm really excited that you started a channel. It's really, really fun, and I love it. It's made, like I said earlier, it's made a huge difference in my life and my family's life, but it's just such a fun, creative outlet for me. So I'm really glad that you started a channel, and I'm glad that I inspired you to make some Christmas videos. That's fun. Yes, I do feel awkward when people in my real life find out. I don't tell a lot of people even now, for several reasons. Number one, I do try to keep my kids as separate from my channel as possible. Like where we live, like my P.O. box is not really where we live. I have to kind of drive to get there. And then I just wonder, you know, sometimes you may meet people that find out about your channel, but you don't know them very well. And I'm like, well, if they know my kids, then they know me, they know kind of where we live, they know my life, you know. So for that reason, I don't tell a lot of people. But for the main reason of, yes, I feel like it's strange that, because it sounds like a fake job. It sounds like something stupid to make videos and put them on the internet. Like, that sounds really weird. It's not typically something you run into somebody every day that does it. Now, obviously, millions of people do it because YouTube wouldn't be here if they didn't. But in your everyday life, you're not going to run into just a bunch of people that make YouTube videos. So it is a strange thing. Even if you don't make money on it. But when you do make money with it, people are confused. They don't understand how you make money just sitting around making videos or cleaning and filming yourself cleaning. Like, they don't get that. And then I wonder if people think that I'm different on YouTube than I am in my personal life. I feel like I'm the same. I feel like I'm the same. But I wonder if they think, oh, she's not like I thought she would be. Or, you know, but it's different. Like, if I'm talking to somebody, I'm going to be a lot more animated because I'm playing off of them. Here, it's just me and a camera. Like, yes, you guys are going to see it. But right now, it's just me. So obviously, there's not like a banter back and forth. So it's different to have that side of my personality. But I feel like I'm the same person. But I always wonder if people think, well, she sounds dumber in person, or she seems really stupid, or she's ugly in person, or she's ugly on camera, or she looks better in person. Like, you know, just all these things that pop in your head. I didn't tell anybody in my family either. My mom knew and my husband knew. But like my aunts or my husband's family, like, we didn't tell them for a very long time. And now they know, and it's always awkward. It still makes me wonder, like, do they watch this video? Did I say something that offended somebody or whatever? You know, like that kind of stuff. So I do feel awkward, but I feel like it's something that I don't worry about it as much. I don't worry about it enough to not do it. You know what I mean? And the bigger my channel has gotten and the more success that I have had, both just personal successes and financial successes, and working with companies that I wanted to work with and things like that, I feel like, you know, why do I feel awkward about this? I am adding money to my family's income. I am doing something that I love. So I try to remind myself of that. So remind yourself of that whenever you feel awkward. You know, you're doing something that you love and it's fun and that may end up benefiting your family, and it may already benefit your family. Maybe you're making money already, or you're getting products from companies or whatever. But, you know, just try not to be embarrassed about it. So I don't go around announcing it to the world, but I'm really working on not being ashamed of it, because there's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm proud of my channel. That part of me always thinks, what are they going to think if they find out? And are they going to go watch them and like pick apart everything I say and say, well, she doesn't say that in real life, or she doesn't seem that way in real life, or I know her in real life, and is she smart enough to teach her kids? You know, all those things come in your brain and play tricks with you. So it's really just a mind game of myself and probably yourself of getting over that. The next question is, not sure if you and your husband have ever dealt with this, but what do you recommend for a wife whose husband isn't leading spiritually like he should, or is as strong in his faith? With 3 kids, it's hard always being the spiritual leader and not having anyone I can lean on when I'm struggling. Well, that is a huge deal, because the Bible does say that the man is supposed to be the spiritual head of the household. All I've ever been able to learn about that is to keep praying about it. That's all the books say. That's all the devotionals say. You know, just keep praying for your husband. Pray for your husband. Pray for your husband. In the meantime, all you can do and all you can lean on in that situation is God, because there's nobody else to lean on. You can't look to your parents or your kids or your friends to support you in that, because obviously that's something that you and your husband are supposed to do together. And if he's not doing his role, then you really can't do your role. So in the meantime, all you can really do is lean on God and work on yourself and your faith and spirituality, and hopefully in turn that may affect your husband in the long run. He may come around. He may not. some prayers go unanswered for reasons we don't understand. So that's why it's so important to just focus on what you're doing is right and what you're doing for your kids, and you're keeping them in church, and you're keeping yourself in church, and you're doing devotions, and you're praying, and you're doing all these things to strengthen your relationship with God, and praying for your husband in the meantime, and hope that in all of that, in your example of what you're doing to strengthen your relationship with God, and in your praying for your husband, hope that he will come around. But ultimately, if he doesn't, then it's your job to protect and build your faith in God and spirituality, and your kids' faith in God and spirituality. So at the end of the day, if your husband's not going to be the one to do it, then that's something that he's going to have to answer for to God, not you. And so, not for lack of trying. You can do all you can do. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So God will understand as long as you are doing your part, and you are praying for your husband, and you are taking care of the family's spiritual needs. God can't fault you for that, I don't think. I mean, I'm not God, so I can't say, but I don't think he's going to fault you for something that you can't help. As long as you're doing your part, and you're living by an example, and you're praying for your husband, God, I don't think, is going to fault you for the fact that you are the spiritual leader of your family and not your husband. That's your husband's fault, and that's something that he's going to have to deal with later on. So, and I know it's hard, because, it is a big responsibility, but we're moms, we're women, and we're strong, and we can take it, and we can do it, and we will do it for our kids' sake and for our sake. So I know you'll do it. It's just not always easy. Next question. If your girls ever wanted to start a YouTube channel, would you let them if they were of age? Yeah, I probably would if they were old enough to understand the safety issues that go along with having a YouTube channel. Little things that you say can tell people where you live. And there's been all types of talk shows and stuff about people that have police officers that have found kids online, and by little innocent questions here and there, they were able to find out where they lived, what school they went to, all these things. So yes, if they were old enough to understand that everything they say could be scrutinized by somebody on the internet to figure out where they live or who they are. And also, they would have to be 100% in charge of their channel. I do not have time to edit, upload, tags, descriptions, cards. I don't have time to do that for anybody else. So that would have to be something that they would commit to taking care of, because I don't have time to do that. And if they are motivated enough to have a channel, then they also need to be motivated enough to do the work that goes along with it. You don't just put a video up and be like, shoo, I'm done. There's a lot that goes into even just one video. So yes, later on, if they are old enough and if they are willing to put in the work to do it 100% on their own. The next question is, I'm curious about your budget, how you budget for Disney. We are huge Disney lovers and try to go to Disney World every year. Well, it's different every year for us, because my husband is in a job that's commission only, 100% commission only. So our income has over the years. So that's an issue. And then also my income with YouTube, I am self-employed. So I have months when I make, this amount, months when I make this amount, it's never consistent. So it's really hard to budget for Disney, especially with my husband's job, because there are times in the year when it's a lot slower and there's a lot less coming in, and there's times in the year where there's a lot more coming in. So I'm not really able to sit down and say, I'm going to save $300 a month for Disney, and we're going to pay that every month. Really what it comes down to is the last few months before the trip is due. That's usually when I'm able to find extra money, whether through my videos or things for his work, that I'm able to find that extra money to put towards Disney. Now, there are ways to save money on Disney vacations, and I've done videos about that before. I will link my Disney playlist if you want to watch those. Maybe you haven't seen all of them. There are ways to save money on a Disney vacation, but basically for us, it's just a matter of those last few months, that crunch time, between, I think the trips usually due in March or April, and we always go in May. So and that's why I always tell the girls until the last minute, I'm like, if we go to Disney. I never tell them 100% until the trip is paid for, because with his job and my job, we don't ever know if something's going to change where we're not going to be able to go, and we may have to cancel our trip, and we might need that money back. So I'll make little payments here and there as I can, but for the most part, the bulk of the trip is paid for the month or two before we go. But I know it's different for everybody, so I would say if you do have a consistent income, then put away a little bit every week or every month to go towards Disney. And then if you have extra, you can put more into it later. If you get a tax return or whatever, things like that. There are ways to get extra money, sell things on Facebook or whatever. With not having consistent income, it's a little different. It's a little harder for us to be able to put consistent money away towards a vacation. But if you do have consistent income, then I would say at least put a little bit away every month if you can in a savings account. That way you can still access it if you need it for bills or an emergency, but it's in that account. Otherwise, it may not be spent on other stuff that you can save for Disney. Next question. I know you feel strongly about showing your children, and I know that one day you may show them too, and that's fine because people could change, and so do aspects of a family. On that thought, have you ever considered switching some content to more family time and including different aspects of your family, like interactions between all your family? No, not really. Like I said, I don't ever really plan to show them. I mean, you're right, things could change and I may show them one day. I don't ever anticipate showing them. The only way I may show them is if they ever got a channel and they were already out there anyway, then maybe I would. I don't see that happening anytime soon, especially with my 8-year-old. But my husband really doesn't want to be on camera. He doesn't like it. I've asked him before, would he be in videos with me? He always says no. He said he sounds stupid on camera. And I'm like, we all sound stupid on camera. But anyway, he doesn't want to be in the videos. And so I feel like this is my channel and I really am keeping it about me and helping you guys with things that I've learned or whatever. And I really don't know what I would do without showing them. It makes it really hard. That's why day in the life videos are hard sometimes, because a lot of people do show their kids or their spouse and they're able to film a lot more of their day. I can't do that because I don't show my kids. So that's really not ever going to change. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. They're not really going to be in them. And if I was okay with showing them, then yes, I would have them on every video. I think my kids are hilarious. I'm really proud of them. I want you guys to see them and I want to share things about them with you guys, but I just don't think it's worth the risk. I don't want to put them out there. I don't want to hear mean comments, because if somebody said something mean about my kids, it would be a lot harder for me to ignore it, and it would be a lot harder for me to be Christian about it. I'm just going to be honest. So I don't want to put that. I don't want to open myself up to that, and I don't want to open them up to that. Even if they never heard those comments, the fact that I knew what people said would really tick me off, to be honest. So I don't want to open them up to that, and I don't want that negativity in my life. I don't want to hear that stuff. And most people are nice. I know most people wouldn't say anything mean, but you get those weirdos that say mean things just to be mean, and I don't want to hear that. So that's another reason why I don't put them on there. I'm losing my voice. I have filmed like 6 videos today, and it's after 1 o'clock. I've been filming all morning, and I'm going to lose my voice. I'm almost done though, I promise. So, next question. Do you ever miss working? And if so, how do you deal with that? I'm a mama of a 3-year-old and I have another one on the way, and we are really considering me being a stay-at-home mom. I'm just really afraid I'm going to miss working, even though I know I will love being able to be there full-time for my kiddos. Okay, well that kind of goes back to the first question, which was, how do you handle loneliness and staying occupied? Again, if you had asked me this question 14 years ago, I would have had no clue what to tell you. I really think you have to find something that you enjoy doing that is still for you. You as a person, not just you as somebody's mom or somebody's wife. Something that you enjoy doing that is creative, it inspires you, it motivates you, it makes you proud of yourself, it continues, it encourages you to grow and change and improve the person you are, whatever that is for you. For me, that's YouTube. That's the main thing that really makes me feel creative and have something that is a creation that is my own and is a reflection of me. Yes, I talk about kids things and mom things, but I mean, it is me from start to finish. I plan the videos, I film them, I edit them, I upload them, I do the tags, the description boxes, the links. Everything is me start to finish. And even though it's tiring and overwhelming sometimes and it's a lot of work, I love it. And I had no idea I would love it, because I am very not like this in person. I would never stand in front of a room of people and talk. I would be the most nervous person in the world. I almost failed communication class in college. Like, I was just the kid that never wanted to get up and talk in front of people. But I always had a lot to share, and I liked sharing. And ironically enough, God has led me here. And it may be something different for you. It may be if you make something, do you want to open an Etsy shop? Do you want to start your own online business? Do you want to start a blog? Do you want to start a YouTube channel? finding something that you love to do that is encouraging and creative and gives you something else to focus on besides just your role as a mom, as much as that is wonderful, that's not just who you are. You don't stop being yourself just because you're a mom or somebody's wife. You are still yourself, and you still have to work on yourself and make yourself happy. You can't rely on other people to make you happy. So that's really my main tip for that. And you may have to try a million things before you figure out what that is for you. And what works for other people may not work for you. You may have a friend who is a Beachbody coach and she loves it and it inspires her and she's doing great, and you think, well, I'll be a Beachbody coach, I can do that, and then you hate it. Or, there's all different things you can do, and it doesn't even have to be a job. It could just be anything that you like to do. Do you paint? Do you draw? Have you always wanted to learn how to play a guitar or a piano? Can you afford to take lessons for something? Whatever it is that you do, but find something that makes you inspired and creative and happy and motivated that is just for you, and then do it. And that will change your entire life as a person and as a mom, because it makes you a better mom when you are happy with yourself. I don't miss working outside of the home because I never had any lofty career goals. Yes, I went to college, and yes, I got a degree in office management. I got a degree in office management because I didn't know what else I wanted to be. And when I was younger, I always said I wanted to be a teacher, which I find it kind of ironic that I'm a homeschool mom, because I am a teacher. I just don't get paid for it. But I've always been kind of an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to do something of my own. And when I was a kid, I thought I was going to be an author, but I still had that same kind of do it your own, make your own kind of a career kind of a thing. Something that was creative. I had no idea that I was going to ever have a YouTube channel, that it was ever going to go as far as it has, even though it's still really small, considering where I thought it was going to go when I first started. It's come a long way. And I'm really proud of it. And the last question, and my nose hurts so bad from talking so much. Do you let your kids use technology? Yes, within reason. I am very strict about cell phones in particular. Obviously, my 8-year-old doesn't have one. My 14-year-old does have one. She got one when she was 12 because we were leaving her places and she needed to have a reliable source of communication with us. That is the only reason I gave her one. If it were not for the fact that I gave her one for security reasons, I would not have given her a phone at this age even. And I know that's going to kill every teenager out there, and they're going to say, well, you're a big jerk and blah, blah. I don't care. I don't want my kids to be cell phone staring, no communication skills, only know how to text zombies. So, and it's not just kids, it's adults too. How many people do you see, you look around you at a restaurant or in a doctor's office or anywhere, Disney World, and people are just sitting there doing this on their phones? I don't get it. I just feel like people are becoming zombies with cell phones, and I'm trying my very, very hardest to keep my kids from doing that. So that is why her cell phone is extremely limited. There's no internet on her phone. She can get text messages from her friends, and she can make phone calls, obviously. But she has no internet access on her phone. So it's fairly limited with what she can do. And even then, I keep it away from her as much as possible. She really doesn't need it when she's not away from us. So very, very limited with the cell phone. We do have an iPad. It's mostly used for educational apps. There was a drawing app that my oldest daughter had that she was using for a while. But she's really, neither one of them really are that interested in the iPad, and I will use it sometimes for educational games, especially with my youngest. There's some games on there that we have that I think are fun that she really likes, and it encourages her. Sometimes we'll add that for school, play on the iPad for your math game or whatever. But I am very strict about that because I see people in my everyday life, some that I know and some that I don't, that are addicted, and I'm not kidding when I say addicted, to their phones. They constantly have to have their phone nearby. It has to be in their hand. It has to be accessible at all times. They pick it up every few minutes. They can't carry on a conversation without looking at it. There are people like that in my life, and I don't want my kids to be that way. And I'm doing everything I can to keep them from being that way. And I'm doing everything I can to keep myself from being that way. And it's not easy because my job is on social media. But if you notice, and if you follow me on Instagram, I post as often as I can, but I'm not on there every single day doing story after story after story because I don't want my kids to see me doing this all day. And with them being homeschooled, it's really challenging because they're home all the time. So it's not like they're away at school and I can post on social media and then be done for the day. They're here all the time. So I have to be really conscious of when I'm on my phone, when I'm answering comments, when I'm doing an Instagram story. So, you know, maybe that means my Instagram is going to stay smaller because I'm not on there all the time, but that's okay because I don't want to be on my phone all the time. I don't want them to be on their phone all the time. And I feel like with kids having phones earlier and earlier and earlier, it just starts that mentality of, I have to have this phone. I have to have this because if I don't have this, somebody can't call me, or nobody can text me, or I can't look up that question that I could have just looked up when I got home. I have to look it up right now. And same thing with kids. They expect to be entertained. You know, you have a baby that's crying, here, have a phone. I understand the need to do it. I understand why people do it, but I really hate it. I really, really, really hate it that even babies are doing this, walking around like this. I mean, I don't know. To me, a phone has become a babysitter for kids, and I hate that because it's just encouraging the mentality of, I can't make my own entertainment. I can't sit around and do nothing. I can't think thoughts and just think about things and daydream. I have to be reliant upon some sort of external source of stimulus. Somebody texting me. I have to be looking on Facebook or Instagram. I have to be watching a YouTube video. I have to see what's up with so-and-so's channel, you know. And that's ironic because I am on social media, so I want people to watch my channel because I spend a lot of time making videos for you guys. But on the same token, I'm trying to keep myself and my kids from being those people. And plus, I just think it's rude. It is plain out old-fashioned rude when you're out to eat with somebody and everybody's on their phone. I mean, look around in the restaurant. Next time you go out to eat, look around you. I guarantee you almost everybody will be on their phone. Sometimes it's everybody at the table, or what I really hate even worse is when people are out with their kids and it's like one parent or both parents and their kids. And the parents are sitting there looking at their phones and the kids are just sitting there like, how exciting would that be to think that you are not important enough for your parents to put down their phone and talk to them? Your parents have to be on their phone. And I know people have to get on their phones. You have to make phone calls sometimes. Sometimes you have to answer emails. I understand that. I get that. And it's not that you can't ever be on your phone. But for the most part, that kind of stuff can wait. You can do it later. Don't do it when you're with your family, and don't just hand your kid a phone because it's the easy way to control them. That is going to, I promise you, that is going to set you up for more trouble as time goes on, because then they're going to always expect to be entertained by somebody else. They can't ever entertain themselves. Heaven forbid they just sit there and do nothing. And then they're just going to always be on their phone. They're always going to be feeling like they have to have that phone as like some kind of appendage. And you don't want your kids to be that way, because that just makes them mindless zombie adults too. And I hate that. I mean, if you can tell, this is like a big deal for me. This is my soapbox, and I am on it about cell phones. I hate them. I love it, but I hate them. And I talked about this before. There's a video out there called Look Up, and I will link it below if I remember. It does have a little bit of language, not much, but a couple words that I remember. And it's basically what I'm trying to tell you in a video form. Like the entire video, everybody's looking at their phone, and it's showing all of these missed opportunities that these people are missing because they're always looking down instead of looking up and experiencing the world around them and the things that there are to enjoy and to look at, and the people there are to talk to and make conversations with, and the experiences that you can have that you can miss out on just because you're staring at a stupid phone. So as much as I love them and they're handy and it saves me money and it's a great way to communicate and talk to you guys and whatever, I am very, very, very careful as much as I can be about my kids and phones. They do have their purpose, they do have their place, but I am trying very hard to keep it limited because I don't want them to be that way. And I know this is a super long video. If you are still here, then you should get some kind of award. I will hand you the award for still being here. And I've gone on several tangents, but I'm very passionate about several things. And I'm really passionate about the cell phone thing because, like I said, I have some people in my life that are addicted to their phones, and I hate it. It drives me crazy. It is a daily source of irritation and frustration with me. So talking about that really gets me fired up because I just hate it so much when you see these people that are completely reliant on their phones and can't even participate in life because they're on their phone. that's a pretty big deal with me. But if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. For those of you who ask a homeschool question, I'm going to be filming those in a separate Q&A video. I'm not going to film it today because my nose is about to fall off. It is so dry from talking so much. So I'm going to film that in a separate video, but these are all the other non-homeschool related questions that I got. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for asking questions. I really appreciate it. If you have any other questions, just leave them in the comments or message me on Instagram or email me or whatever, and I will add them up and put them in another Q&A later on down the road. But I love doing these for you guys because I feel like I really get to know you better. I feel like you get to know me better. And if you like hearing me prattle on about whatever, then I hope you like this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow me over on Instagram, even though I will not be on there every single day probably. I do post on there quite a bit, and it's the best way to contact me where you will get an answer the most quickly. So definitely follow me on Instagram if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video. If you want to see 2 of my older videos, you can click the links right here. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, if you haven't already, and you definitely should, you can click right here. I upload every single week. I have some links in the description box for some of my favorite stores and products, as well as my P.O. box address. Check out those links if you're interested in those, and I will see you guys in the next video.